The Chrism Mass celebration is one of the important highlights of the Holy Week celebration. It is done usually on Holy Thursday, early morning. It is during that day, there will be no Mass in the whole diocese, and the bishop will celebrate the Mass together with his priests and the lay faithful during that time. Now, what's the importance of this Chrism Mass? It is precisely called Chrism Mass because it is during this Mass that the holy oils are blessed by the bishop. The holy oils that will be used all throughout the year. And these are the oil for the sick and the oil of the sacred chrism. The oil for the sick is the oil that is used for the sacrament of the anointing of the sick, whereas the chrism oil is the oil that is used for baptism, for confirmation, and for the anointing of the priest during ordination rites. So it is blessed during this Holy Mass. At the same time, this Holy Mass is also the celebration of the priesthood of our priests. So here, the priests, they once again make their promise to the bishop to be faithful in the service to the people of God. So the faithful are represented in the Mass, and they bring their own parish priests so that together they can celebrate the priesthood of the priests together. That's why preferably this Mass is celebrated with the bishop and his priests to see to point out the unity of the priesthood and of the service that they offer to God. It is in this Mass that the bishop would exhort the priests to be faithful to their duty and to see the importance of their own work in the life of the church, that this priesthood is something that is willed by Christ for His church, that the priests can become true altar Christs, other Christs for the people of God whenever they minister to Him. And after this celebration of the Mass, the faithful would congratulate their priests and again express their love and loyalty to the priests who serve them. So this is one of the highlights of the Holy Week celebration. Now, in some dioceses, especially dioceses which are far in the mission territories, they cannot gather together on Holy Thursday morning. If they do so, the priests would not be able to come back to their own parishes for the evening Masses. So, this Chrism Mass can be transferred to some other time. In some dioceses of big extent, they would do that maybe on Holy Monday, Holy Tuesday. Some would even do that a week before, just to bring about that common gathering of the bishop and his priests. Now, the holy oils that are blessed in this Mass are very important symbols for us. You know that oil was an important element, especially in ancient times. The oil was a symbol of strength, and people would use the oil for massaging, for keeping people protected from heat and cold. That's why it is used for the anointing of the sick. And at the same time, the chrism or the holy oil was a sign of choosing. So the Christ is actually the anointed one. And those who were anointed in ancient times were the priests, the prophets, and the kings. That means that they were chosen by God for this particular purpose. Now, this is also the oil that we use for our anointing. Now, the choosing of God in baptism. So, the newly baptized, they are anointed with the water, the cleansing, and anointed with oil that God has chosen them. The same also for the confirmation. They are confirmed in the faith by means of the anointing, the setting aside. The same also for the priests. When they're ordained, their hands are anointed, and even the bishops, when they are consecrated as the bishops, their heads are anointed. So all this anointing would mean the setting aside, that they are being set aside for a particular mission. So the oil that is to be used for this anointing are blessed by the bishop during this Mass. And then they are distributed to the priests in their own dioceses. Now, the oil that is used for the anointing is usually olive oil, or if they cannot be taken, then they would use vegetable oil that is used for the anointing. Now, a lesson for us to attend this Chrism Mass is to give value to our priests. God has chosen them in a special way in order to serve us, in order to continue the mission of Christ. So may this anointing of our priests also be recognized and appreciated by the lay faithful. And may our lay faithful value their own priests by their loyalty to them, and then by the support that they give, but most especially by their prayers, so that they can be true to the choice of God that has been given to them, that they be true to the mission given to them in the service of the Church.